Hi, my name is Kyle. I'm just putting my glove back on. I'm here to talk to you about mindfulness. I have just been in my room. I've meditated in my room for an hour and a half, the last hour and a half. I've been meditating for about a year now. I probably started about 3 years ago, but I've been taking mindfulness pretty seriously last year and a half. And it's really important to know who you are in life. And if you don't know who you are, you get lost and you end up just following the crowd. It's kind of interesting to think that some people find that comfortable. I'm here to talk to you for about 15 minutes. I'm going to put this video on YouTube. I've made a few YouTube videos in the past, and they give you a 15-minute time limit. So I'm gonna spend the next about 13 minutes just kind of demonstrating to you what mindfulness might look like from someone who takes it seriously. Like I said, it's really important to know who you are. I don't see any other way living happily in life. If you don't know who you are, and you're gonna end up looking for pleasures that are very ephemeral, meaning they go away really fast. For example, I use the motorcycle example. If you buy a new motorcycle, you are really truly happier for the next 6 months, but then 6 months later you end up not being as happy. So then you end up trying to find something new again. So you're in this kind of vicious cycle of finding something new every 6 months. I've been that way before. I've sought new pleasures every 6 months for a long time. The only few things that I've kept with me is the pleasure to learn about myself. That is probably the number one pleasure in life, is learning about who you are. For me personally, I've learned that I learn best about who I am through philosophy. I like thinking about new ideas. So I connect who I am through thinking ideas and deeply, and because I can't ignore the fact that who I truly am is connected with what truly is, what is really true in life. So since I was a teenager, I wanted to figure out what was true in life. And I kind of stumbled upon philosophy, which towards the end, the last about 4 years, I've studied philosophy. And the biggest question that you can get from philosophy is the question of what exists. And for a long time, I thought what exists was me and then the physical world. However, that's a dualist point of view. So the idea is there's two things. There's you as consciousness, and then there's the physical world outside of you. But I don't know if that describes the whole universe. It feels like more like everything is just consciousness, and that things aren't really physical. Because you can touch something physical, but really it's just the idea of touching. There's no you touching something, and there's no something that's being touched. It feels more like just touching, like an action. And also with time, it also feels like the past exists, but the more I think about it, or the more I'm mindful, the more I feel like the past does not exist. There's only the now moment. So there's actually an Emily Dickinson poem that describes how life is just full of right nows. There's right now, then there's right now, and then there's right now. Life is full of just 2-second moments, and there's nothing else. So mindfulness is noticing those 2-second moments and knowing that there's nothing outside of that 2-second moment. And so what does that look like? I think it's at first it's a mentality which you can learn through meditating, but then it becomes the deepest part of you is mindfulness. And it really centers you, it really gathers you. As you can see, I'm pausing from sentence to sentence because I feel like I need about 2 seconds to gather myself and center myself before I can use words to describe what is going on. And I think going deep into yourself will reveal most about what is true. There is a man I follow on YouTube who argues that to discover truth, it has to be here and now. If something is the ultimate truth, and that means the ultimate truth has to be everything. If everything didn't include you in the here and now, it's not the truth. Another way to explain that is, let's say the truth is God. For God to be, God is omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent, meaning he's everywhere, he knows everything, and he's all powerful. If that was true, that means God is in you right now, because you exist without a doubt. You exist without a doubt. And you've known that since you were born. You even knew that before you were born. Actually, the only thing that you know in life with certainty is that you exist. There's nothing outside of your existence that you can know for certain. So the fact that you exist, you know that God is in you. But that's not even certain, because that's assuming that God is different from you. That's assuming there's you, and then there's God. But that's the problem of duality. That means you can't prove God if God is outside of you. You can't, you can try to point to it, but in the end, anything outside of you ends. I don't know if you've noticed this, but the only thing that's remained constant in your whole life is your consciousness. And in fact, it's not even your consciousness. If you notice the moment, it's actually just consciousness and it's not you. There's a difference between you and your name. If your name is Jim, you're not Jim. You're consciousness. Because Jim changes. Jim is born and Jim dies. But what remains? From the beginning of the universe, in this realm, I've talked about this before in my blogs, but in this realm, in this universe, time is true. But time is just a concept in this reality. So when you're dreaming, what is time? It either changes or it ceases to exist. It's like a new type of time. What was I saying? Well, going back to God and you. So if God is all powerful and everywhere and you exist, that means God is you. And again, you don't exist, so it's actually just consciousness. So therefore, God is consciousness. Consciousness is God. And so those things must be the same thing. So that's why you call it non-duality, or a better word is oneness. Everything is one. There is only one thing. So that means you exist, other things exist as one thing. There's only now. There is only thinking. There's not people thinking, there is just thinking. There is movement. There's not time, but there is movement. For example, I'm sitting out here watching the cars. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday, and people are coming back home from their 9 to 5 jobs. And I kind of look out here, and I see cars coming by. And in a mindfulness state, you remember that there's only 2-second moments that go by. So you notice the 2-second moment right now. There's another 2-second moment right now. There's another 2-second moment right now. And you know that I am everything, okay? So anything that is happening is consciousness. So it's not, you think it's you, but it's actually just consciousness. So if you sit here outside and you're watching cars go by, you have to notice that the cars are you. There's only this moment. So that's the meditative state. But you see that the cars that are going by are flowing by, so they come into your vision. You can call it your horizon. Anything that is within your realm. Cars come into your realm and they go away. So you think that they exist, but after 2 seconds, no, they no longer exist. You can't know for certain where that car went. It's out of consciousness. But at the same time, it's you as well. The car continues existing, both probably as an idea in your head, but also it's being seen by consciousness because other people are conscious. So consciousness is seeing that car go by, but it's not in my realm. So I can't know whether or not it exists. So this is the meditative state, or mindfulness. So mindfulness is a popular word to describe everything that is. Another phrase is isness. Anything that is, and ness, meaning the nature of, is. The nature of existence. The only thing that you know, again, is your consciousness. So that's the is. And what's the nature of it? It's the deepest part of you. So to understand truth, you have to go in, towards, right here, through your, this is called your third eye. There's really not any locations, but the Hindus, they say that it comes through your third eye, right here, through your eyebrow, in between your eyebrows, right here. So you can focus on this spot, because your eyes actually don't see, like your eyes are not seeing. There's only experiencing of seeing. There's only experiencing of touching. There's only experiencing of eating. But the eating goes away. Okay, you might be hungry for a short time, but then it ends. The only thing that remains is the isness, is the consciousness. It's not your mind, because your mind goes in and out. So also, lastly, focus on what exists in between your thoughts. So thoughts do not exist either. They come in to your consciousness and they leave. Your ego, your self-identity, Jim, okay, Jim creates a project in life. Jim tries to create a project in life, okay, but that ends. So your life is very short. So if you want to take full advantage of your short life, go in towards yourself, figure out the deepest part of you. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you.